Kandahar, a city where history breathes through the dust and wind of southern Afghanistan. In this video, we take you inside the Kandahar Museum, a quiet but powerful reminder of the region's ancient legacy. From the days of Alexander the Great to the rise of the Durrani Empire, Kandahar has been a cradle of civilizations. The museum stands as a symbol of cultural strength, preserving the identity of a city that has witnessed both glory and struggle. This is not just a museum. It is a journey through time, through the heart of Afghanistan itself. The Kandahar Museum is located in the heart of Kandahar city, the historical capital of southern Afghanistan. The city lies in a fertile valley along the Arghandab River, surrounded by rugged mountains and arid plains that have witnessed countless centuries of trade, conquest, and civilization. Geographically, Kandahar sits roughly midway between Herat in the west and Kabul in the east, with ancient caravan routes extending southward toward Quetta and the Indian subcontinent, and westward toward Iran and Central Asia. This strategic position made Kandahar a vital commercial and cultural hub along the old Silk Road network, where merchants, scholars, and armies from many lands passed through, leaving traces of their languages, faiths, and traditions. The museum itself is located near several of Kandahar's most important historical landmarks, including the Ahmad Shah Durrani Mausoleum, the old city ruins, and the Chilzina rock relief carved high in the mountains overlooking the valley. These surroundings serve as a living backdrop to the museum's mission of preservation, linking the artifacts inside to the ancient environment from which they came. The city's streets echo with history, from the Achaemenid Persians and Alexander the Great's Macedonian forces to the Greeks of Bactria, Buddhist dynasties, Islamic caliphates, and finally, the Durrani Empire, which established Kandahar as the birthplace of modern Afghanistan in the mid-18th century. Founded by Alexander the Great around 330 BCE and originally known as Alexandria, Kandahar became one of the several cities named after him across Asia. The archaeological sites surrounding the city, such as Old Kandahar, Zorshar, still reveal Hellenistic urban planning, ancient fortifications, and remnants of Greco-Bactrian culture. Later, under Ahmad Shah Durrani, the founder of the Afghan nation, Kandahar once again rose to prominence as the first capital of a united Afghanistan, symbolizing political and cultural rebirth. The Kandahar Museum was established in the mid-20th century as part of Afghanistan's national effort to protect and promote its cultural heritage, particularly in regions rich with archaeological sites like Kandahar and Zabul. The museum's foundation was driven by Afghan historians, archaeologists, and local officials who recognized the immense historical value buried beneath the soil of southern Afghanistan, an area that had seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations over thousands of years. Its initial purpose was to collect, preserve, and exhibit artifacts unearthed from excavations around Old Kandahar, Zorshar, Mundagak, and Shur, as well as from private donations and recovered heritage items discovered across the southern provinces. When it first opened, the museum was modest in scale, a simple structure housing a few hundred artifacts. Yet it quickly became an important center for cultural education and archaeological research in the region. The Afghan Institute of Archaeology and the Ministry of Information and Culture supported the early cataloging of items, which ranged from prehistoric pottery and Hellenistic coins to Islamic ceramics and tribal jewelry. Each object represented a fragment of the vast story of Kandahar's evolution as a center of trade, religion, and empire. During the 1970s, the museum's collection expanded significantly, as excavations in southern Afghanistan revealed new treasures dating back thousands of years. However, like many other Afghan cultural institutions, the Kandahar Museum faced enormous challenges in the decades that followed. The outbreak of wars in the 1980s and 1990s led to widespread damage, theft, and loss of cultural property. Many artifacts were looted or destroyed, while the museum's building itself suffered structural damage from fighting. Yet even during the darkest years, the museum's staff and local citizens took extraordinary measures to hide and protect valuable artifacts, safeguarding them in private homes, storage rooms, and government archives until peace returned. In the early 2000s, following the fall of the Taliban regime, efforts began to restore the museum with the help of UNESCO, the National Museum of Afghanistan, and international cultural preservation groups. These restoration initiatives focused on repairing the building, cataloging what remained of the collection, and rediscovering items that had been scattered or lost. Step by step, the Kandahar Museum re-emerged as a functioning institution, smaller than before, but standing as a powerful symbol of cultural resilience and national pride. The Kandahar Museum building is a fine example of traditional Afghan architecture blended with practical modern design, reflecting the cultural spirit of southern Afghanistan. Constructed mainly with locally sourced materials such as mud brick, limestone, and timber, the structure harmonizes with the surrounding landscape, earthy, warm, and resilient, much like the city itself. The exterior walls are thick and slightly curved, helping to regulate temperature in Kandahar's hot, dry climate. The building's sand-colored facade blends naturally with the tones of the desert and mountains that encircle the city, making the museum appear as if it has grown organically from the land it celebrates. The museum's entrance features a large arched doorway, an architectural motif deeply rooted in Afghan and Islamic traditions. The arch is both functional and symbolic. It represents openness to knowledge and the passage between the present and the past. Above the entrance, a modest inscription marks the museum's name in Pashto and Dari, reminding visitors that this is a national treasure belonging to all Afghans. Small windows set high in the walls allow sunlight to filter softly into the galleries, creating a calm, reflective atmosphere that protects artifacts from harsh light while illuminating them naturally. Inside, the museum's interior layout is simple, yet elegant, divided into several interconnected galleries and halls arranged chronologically and thematically. The main exhibition hall features tall ceilings with wooden beams, while smaller side rooms contain specific collections, ancient coins, Greco-Bactrian, pottery, Islamic metal, ethnographic items, and manuscripts. The walls are often decorated with traditional geometric motifs and subtle patterns inspired by Kandahar's local artistry, adding cultural texture without distracting from the exhibits themselves. The flooring is constructed from polished stone and clay tiles, providing both durability and a rustic charm. The corridors are wide enough to allow groups of visitors to move comfortably while maintaining a sense of intimacy and closeness to the displays. In some areas, traditional wooden latticework, known as jajali, separates sections of the museum, allowing airflow and visual connection between rooms. This lattice design is a hallmark of Afghan craftsmanship, symbolizing unity and continuity between different eras of artistic expression. A small courtyard garden lies at the museum's rear, offering visitors a peaceful resting area surrounded by pomegranate and mulberry trees, a nod to Kandahar's famous orchards and agricultural heritage. Benches line the courtyard where visitors, students, and scholars often sit to take notes, reflect, or simply enjoy the tranquil environment. The sounds of the city fade behind the thick walls, leaving only the whispers of history. Every element of the Kandahar Museum's architecture, from its arched ceilings to its handcrafted doors, serves a deeper purpose: to connect the people of today with the craftsmanship, culture, and design sensibilities of their ancestors. The building itself is more than just a structure housing artifacts. It is an artifact in its own right, embodying centuries of Afghan architectural wisdom and cultural continuity, standing strong in a city that has seen empires rise and fall. The Kandahar Museum's design reflects both endurance and elegance, a sanctuary of knowledge built from the very soul of southern Afghanistan. The Kandahar Museum holds one of the most diverse and historically layered collections in southern Afghanistan, showcasing artifacts that span more than 3,000 years of civilization. Each gallery tells a different story, from the prehistoric settlements of the region to the Greco-Bactrian influences, Buddhist relics, Islamic art, and ethnographic traditions of modern Kandahar. Though modest in size compared to national institutions like the Kabul Museum, the Kandahar Museum's collection carries profound cultural weight because nearly every artifact originates from the soil of Kandahar and its neighboring provinces, giving the museum a uniquely local authenticity. The first section of the museum features prehistoric and Bronze Age artifacts excavated from ancient sites such as Mundi, one of Afghanistan's oldest known urban centers, located west of Kandahar. These exhibits include hand-shaped clay vessels, stone tools, beads, and pottery fragments decorated with geometric designs. They provide valuable insight into the early agricultural societies that flourished in the region nearly 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, long before the rise of recorded history. Moving forward in time, the next gallery focuses on the Hellenistic and Greco-Bactrian period, a chapter that began when Alexander the Great founded the ancient city of Alexandria, Arachosia, Old Kandahar, in the 4th century BCE. This section contains coins bearing Greek inscriptions and portraits of rulers, terracotta figurines, fragments of sculptures, and pottery that reveal the fusion between Greek artistic styles and Afghan local traditions. The presence of these artifacts demonstrates Kandahar's position as a cultural crossroads where East met West, where Greek craftsmanship mingled with Central Asian influences to produce a unique hybrid art form. Another significant part of the collection centers around Buddhist and Kushan period relics, discovered from sites near Kandahar and Helmand. These include small statues of the Buddha, carved stone reliefs, and decorative architectural fragments that once adorned ancient monasteries and stupas. The stylistic elements reflect Gandhar art, a blend of Hellenistic realism and South Asian spirituality, showing that Kandahar once played an important role in the spread of Buddhism across the region. Islamic era gallery is among the most visually striking sections of the museum. It showcases objects from the Ghaznavid, Ghorid, and Timurid periods, as well as later Durrani artifacts from the 18th and 19th centuries. These include finely inscribed Quranic manuscripts, glazed ceramic tiles with floral and geometric patterns, bronze and copper utensils, and fragments of wooden panels decorated with delicate carvings. Each piece illustrates Afghanistan's deep Islamic artistic heritage, emphasizing calligraphy, symmetry, and sacred beauty. One of the museum's most beloved spaces is the ethnographic gallery, which highlights the traditional life of Kandahar's people. Here, visitors can see tribal jewelry made of silver and turquoise, hand-woven carpets and kilims, embroidered clothing, ornamental belts, and household items used by Pashtun, Baluch, and other ethnic communities. These exhibits capture the living traditions of craftsmanship that continue to define Kandahar's cultural identity. Today, a smaller but equally important part of the museum's holdings includes weapons, swords, rifles, and armor from the Durrani Empire and later Afghan kingdoms. Many of these items belong to local leaders, reflecting Kandahar's long military and political importance. Alongside, these are displays of historical photographs and documents that trace the evolution of the city during the 19th and early 20th centuries. Many artifacts were lost during decades of conflict. The museum has worked tirelessly to recover and restore what remains. Each object that has survived carries not only artistic and historical value, but also emotional significance, a testament to Afghanistan's enduring spirit. Together, these collections form a comprehensive narrative of Kandahar's transformation across the ages, from a Bronze Age settlement to a Greek city, from a Buddhist center to an Islamic capital, and finally, to the cultural heart of modern southern Afghanistan. The Kandahar Museum houses a remarkable array of artifacts that serve as tangible links to Afghanistan's long and diverse history. Each item on display carries a powerful story, not only of ancient craftsmanship, but also of cultural endurance through centuries of transformation and turmoil. These artifacts reveal the layers of civilization that once flourished in Kandahar, from its early settlements to its role as a capital of empires. Among the most celebrated treasures in the museum are the ancient coins, bearing the image of Alexander the Great. These small, yet historically monumental pieces were discovered around Old Kandahar Zor Shart, the site of ancient Alexandria Nicosia, founded by Alexander himself in the 4th century BCE. The coins feature Greek inscriptions and portraits of Hellenistic rulers, symbolizing the profound influence of Greek culture that once extended deep into Afghan lands. They represent Kandahar's role as one of the key centers of Greco-Bactrian civilization, a time when Greek and Eastern artistic traditions merged to create a unique cultural identity. Another highlight of the museum's collection is the series of Buddhist sculptures and terracotta figures unearthed from sites near Helmand, Sharikona. These artifacts, dating from the Kushan and Gandharan periods, depict serene Buddhas and Bodhisattvas carved in stone or molded in clay. Their fine detailing and stylistic features, gentle expressions, flowing robes, and intricate halos reflect a remarkable synthesis of Hellenistic realism and Indian spirituality. Characteristic of Gandharan art, these pieces are crucial for understanding Kandahar's once thriving Buddhist heritage before the arrival of Islam. Equally fascinating are the Islamic manuscripts and Quranic pages preserved in the museum's archives. Written in Kufic, Naskh, and Thuluth scripts, these manuscripts date back to the Ghaznavid and Timurid periods and are decorated with delicate illuminations in gold, blue, and red. They not only represent religious devotion, but also demonstrate Afghanistan's historical mastery of calligraphy, bookbinding, and papermaking. Alongside the manuscripts are fragments of wooden panels from mosques and madrasas, carved with intricate arabesque motifs and floral designs that echo the beauty of Islamic geometry. The museum also preserves an impressive collection of Durrani-era weapons and armor, which hold deep historical and national significance. These include swords with jeweled hilts, daggers with silver inlay, matchlock rifles, and chainmail armor once used by soldiers of the Durrani Empire, the dynasty founded by Ahmad Shah Durrani, the father of the Afghan nation. These items evoke the martial valor of Kandahar's past and the city's role as a political and military heartland during the 18th and 19th centuries. In addition to these, visitors can find ceramic bowls and vessels from the Islamic period, adorned with turquoise glazes and calligraphic inscriptions wishing prosperity and good fortune. There are also bronze oil lamps, metal utensils, and ornamental jewelry that reflect the artistry of daily life in medieval Kandahar. Each piece, no matter how simple, holds a quiet beauty that connects the ancient past to the modern present. One of the museum's more recent highlights is a collection of ethnographic artifacts donated by local families. These include embroidered Pashtun dresses, tribal jewelry, hand-woven carpets, and ceremonial objects used in weddings and festivals. Displayed together, they celebrate the living traditions of Kandahar's people, showing that culture is not only preserved in museums, but also carried proudly in everyday life. The Kandahar Museum is far more than a repository of ancient relics. It is a living symbol of Afghanistan's cultural identity, resilience, and continuity. In a region that has often faced the devastation of war and the pressures of modernization, the museum stands as a guardian of memory and meaning. It preserves the essence of southern Afghanistan's diverse heritage, a heritage shaped by the meeting of civilizations, the rise of empires, and the enduring strength of its people. Culturally, Kandahar has always been one of Afghanistan's most influential cities. Known historically as the gateway to the south, it has served as a melting pot of ethnic groups, languages, and traditions. The museum embodies this cultural diversity, reflecting the Pashtun, Baluch, Persian, and Central Asian influences that have intertwined over millennia. Every artifact on display, from an ancient coin to a tribal textile, connects visitors with the layers of identity that make up the Afghan nation. The museum, therefore, functions not just as an educational institution but as a bridge between generations, allowing young Afghans to see the depth and beauty of their roots. For local residents, the Kandahar Museum represents pride and belonging. It is a place where the people of Kandahar can look back at their city's contributions to art, religion, and statehood. Many visitors, especially students, come to the museum to study the region's past, to learn how their ancestors built cities, crafted art, and shaped the course of Afghan history. For them, the museum is a space of inspiration and identity, reminding them that Kandahar has always been a center of creativity, not just conflict. The museum also plays a crucial role in reviving traditional craftsmanship and knowledge. By exhibiting ancient pottery, textiles, metalwork, and carvings, it provides examples for modern artisans to study and draw inspiration from. Many of Kandahar's artisans, weavers, calligraphers, and metalworkers see the museum as a cultural mentor, preserving the techniques and aesthetics that define Afghan artistry on a national level. The Kandahar Museum holds deep symbolic importance. It stands as a southern counterpart to the National Museum in Kabul, representing the idea that Afghanistan's cultural story is not confined to one city or region. Kandahar's artifacts tell a different chapter, one of trade, innovation, and cross-cultural exchange. By maintaining its own regional museum, Kandahar asserts its role as a vital contributor to the country's historical narrative. The museum's influence extends beyond Afghanistan's borders as well. Scholars, archaeologists, and heritage organizations view it as a critical site for understanding Afghanistan's role in ancient world civilizations, linking the cultures of Greece, India, Persia, and Central Asia. The artifacts preserved here provide evidence of the region's significance in global history, highlighting Afghanistan's contribution to art, religion, and human development. Most importantly, the Kandahar Museum serves as a symbol of hope. In a land that has endured decades of instability, the museum's continued existence is a testament to the Afghan people's determination to protect their culture against all odds. Its preservation efforts send a powerful message that while buildings may be rebuilt and governments may change, the heart of a nation lives on through its culture. Every corner of the museum tells a story not just of what Afghanistan was, but what it continues to be. It reminds the world that Kandahar is not defined by its conflicts, but by its creativity, faith, and humanity. In this way, the Kandahar Museum stands as both a monument to the past and a guiding light for the future, ensuring that Afghanistan's southern heritage continues to inspire generations to come. The story of the Kandahar Museum is not just one of history and culture, it is also a story of survival and perseverance. Over the past several decades, the museum has faced immense challenges that threatened its very existence, from wars and looting to natural decay and limited resources. The Kandahar Museum has endured some of the harshest conditions imaginable for a cultural institution. Yet, against all odds, it continues to stand, a symbol of Afghanistan's enduring commitment to preserving its heritage even in times of great uncertainty. The first major challenge arose during the years of conflict beginning in the late 1970s. As Afghanistan descended into war, the museum, like many others across the country, suffered from neglect, damage, and the displacement of artifacts. The Soviet invasion, followed by the Civil War of the 1990s, created a dangerous environment for heritage preservation. Many museum employees fled, and cultural sites across Kandahar were looted. Priceless items, coins, manuscripts, sculptures, and ornaments were stolen and smuggled abroad to illegal markets. Others were destroyed by bombardments or left exposed to the elements after the building sustained structural damage. Despite these tragedies, the museum staff and local citizens played an extraordinary role in saving what they could. Risking their lives, they secretly removed artifacts from the museum and stored them in secure underground vaults, mosques, or private homes to prevent them from being lost forever. These unsung heroes, archaeologists, teachers, and ordinary residents acted out of love for their history, ensuring that at least part of Kandahar's cultural soul survived through the darkest years. After 2001, when a degree of stability returned to parts of Afghanistan, efforts to restore and rehabilitate the Kandahar Museum began. With the cooperation of the Ministry of Information and Culture, UNESCO, and the National Museum of Afghanistan. Several programs were launched to document, clean, and restore remaining artifacts. International experts provided training in conservation techniques, while local craftsmen helped repair damaged displays and rebuild parts of the structure. These initiatives marked a turning point, a shift from survival to recovery. However, the process has been slow and difficult. Even today, the museum faces significant challenges, including limited funding, lack of advanced conservation facilities, and shortage of trained staff. The building, though repaired, still requires constant maintenance to protect it from humidity, temperature changes, and dust. Many artifacts remain in fragile condition, awaiting proper restoration and cataloging. The absence of digital archiving also means that much of the museum's collection remains undocumented, increasing the risk of loss or misidentification. Security remains another serious concern. Ongoing instability in the region often makes it difficult for researchers, tourists, and foreign partners to visit or assist the museum. Nonetheless, the local community continues to provide protection and support. For many Kandaharis, safeguarding the museum has become a matter of honor, a way of preserving their city's identity and pride in the face of adversity. In recent years, young Afghan archaeologists and volunteers have taken renewed interest in heritage preservation projects. Often, working alongside international cultural organizations, these efforts include developing educational programs, cataloging artifacts, and raising public awareness about the importance of protecting heritage sites. The Kandahar Museum has also served as a training ground for local students, teaching them conservation, museum management, and documentation skills, nurturing a new generation of guardians for Afghanistan's history. Despite all the difficulties, the Kandahar Museum remains a beacon of cultural resilience. Each restored artifact, each repaired wall, and each new catalog entry represents a small victory against the forces of destruction and forgetfulness. The museum's endurance proves that culture cannot be silenced by war. It survives through the dedication of those who cherish it. Visiting the Kandahar Museum is a journey through time, an experience that allows travelers, scholars, and locals alike to step into the heart of Afghanistan's southern heritage. Although modest in size compared to some international museums, the Kandahar Museum offers an atmosphere of authenticity and intimacy that few places can match. Every display, every corridor, and every artifact tells a story, immersing visitors in the deep cultural layers that define Kandahar's historical identity. Upon entering the museum, visitors are greeted by a traditional Afghan courtyard, often surrounded by arched doorways and decorative tilework that reflects regional architectural styles. The design immediately evokes the historic spirit of Kandahar, simple yet elegant, ancient yet alive. The museum's structure itself is part of the experience. It represents a blend of old and new, with restored brick walls and reconstructed galleries that respect traditional Afghan craftsmanship. The museum's interior layout is organized thematically, guiding visitors through different eras of Kandahar's past. One section may highlight archaeological discoveries from the Greco-Bactrian and Kushan periods, while another focuses on Islamic era art and manuscripts. Display cases feature ancient coins, pottery, jewelry, and weaponry, each labeled with information that connects it to Kandahar's evolving story. Artifacts are arranged to show not just their historical importance, but also their artistic beauty, with careful lighting and placement that bring out the intricate details of craftsmanship. In the archaeological gallery, visitors can see relics dating back over to millennia, from fragments of Hellenistic statues to Buddhist carvings unearthed near the city's outskirts. These items reveal the region's role as a cultural crossroads between East and West. Nearby, the Islamic Heritage section displays calligraphy panels, glazed tiles, Quranic manuscripts, and ornamental metal, demonstrating the flourishing of Islamic art and spirituality during the medieval period. The museum also features exhibits on the Durrani Empire, showcasing coins, royal seals, and decorative items that reflect the glory of Ahmad Shah Durrani's reign, the founding father of modern Afghanistan. One of the most moving areas of the museum is the ethnographic collection, where visitors encounter traditional Pashtun garments, carpets, musical instruments, and household tools. These displays highlight the daily life, craftsmanship, and cultural traditions of Kandahar's people. Visitors can see how ancient artistic techniques continue to influence modern Afghan design, from embroidery and woodwork to jewelry making and architecture. For students and researchers, the museum offers guided tours and educational programs, often led by local historians or archaeologists. These tours provide deeper insights into the historical significance of the artifacts and their connection to broader Afghan and Central Asian history. Occasionally, workshops and lectures are held to promote heritage awareness among young visitors, encouraging them to take pride in their cultural roots. Although not yet equipped with digital or multimedia displays like larger institutions, the Kandahar Museum's simplicity gives it a sense of authenticity and soul. Visitors often describe the experience as quiet and emotional, a rare opportunity to reflect on Afghanistan's ancient greatness and the resilience of its people. The museum's tranquil atmosphere, away from the city's busy streets, creates a space for contemplation and learning. In recent years, modest improvements have enhanced the visitor experience. Updated signage, better lighting, and new display cases have made the exhibitions more accessible. Some areas include bilingual information panels in Pashto and English, making it easier for international visitors to appreciate the context of the artifacts. There are also small seating areas and shaded spots where guests can rest and discuss what they've seen, fostering a communal spirit of appreciation for Afghan heritage. The museum staff, known for their warmth and hospitality, play a key role in shaping visitors' experiences. They often share personal stories about the artifacts, tales of how certain items were saved during conflicts or rediscovered after decades. This human connection gives the museum an emotional depth rarely found elsewhere. The future vision of the Kandahar Museum is centered on renewal, preservation, and the empowerment of future generations. As Afghanistan continues to rebuild its cultural and social fabric, the museum stands at the forefront of this transformation, a symbol of how heritage can guide a nation toward unity and progress. The Kandahar Museum's mission for the coming years is not only to protect the relics of the past, but also to reimagine its role as a living center of education, creativity, and cultural exchange. Plans for the museum's future include the modernization of its exhibition spaces, the digital documentation of collections, and the introduction of interactive educational programs. Experts envision developing a digital archive that allows both local and international scholars to access the museum's collection online, creating a bridge between Kandahar and the global academic community. Such advancements would make it possible for Afghan students and researchers to study their heritage without physical limitations, preserving knowledge for future generations. Another vital part of the museum's vision is to strengthen community engagement. The museum hopes to expand its outreach programs, inviting local schools, universities, and artisans to collaborate on cultural projects. By hosting art workshops, traditional craft exhibitions, and cultural festivals, the Kandahar Museum aims to inspire pride among young Afghans, teaching them that their history is not a distant memory but a living source of strength and identity. This approach also helps create economic opportunities for local craftsmen and women, who keep ancient traditions alive through their art. In collaboration with the Ministry of Information and Culture, UNESCO, and international partners, efforts are underway to enhance conservation facilities and staff training. These initiatives include workshops on artifact preservation, climate control, and museum management, ensuring that the museum can care for its growing collection according to international standards. Future renovations may also introduce climate-controlled storage rooms and modern security systems, protecting the artifacts from both environmental damage and potential theft. The museum's leadership has also expressed interest in developing temporary exhibitions that can travel to other Afghan provinces or even abroad, showcasing Kandahar's history to the wider world. Such exhibitions would not only strengthen cultural diplomacy but also reshape global perceptions of Afghanistan, portraying it not merely as a land of conflict, but as a cradle of civilization and creativity. Looking further ahead, the Kandahar Museum envisions becoming a regional cultural hub in southern Afghanistan. By integrating research, education, and preservation, it seeks to connect archaeologists, historians, and artists from across the region. The creation of a heritage learning center within the museum could provide space for lectures, youth programs, and archaeological research, encouraging collaboration between local and international experts. Despite the challenges, from political instability to financial constraints, the museum's vision remains steadfast. It continues to operate as a beacon of hope, demonstrating that even amid uncertainty, culture endures. Each artifact preserved, each exhibition opened, and each visitor welcomed represents a victory for Afghanistan's collective memory. The Kandahar Museum stands as a testament to Afghanistan's unbroken spirit. It reminds the world that this ancient land, once a vital link between East and West, still holds treasures of wisdom, artistry, and humanity. The museum's quiet halls echo with the voices of ancestors who built cities, carved sculptures, and wrote poetry centuries ago. And through the dedication of today's caretakers, those voices continue to be heard. The future of the Kandahar Museum is, therefore, not merely about preservation, but about rebirth, the rebirth of cultural pride, historical awareness, and national unity. As Afghanistan moves forward, the Kandahar Museum will remain a guiding light, a symbol of endurance, knowledge, and the timeless power of culture to heal, inspire, and connect generations across time.